Hello yogis. I thought that since I'm not teaching this Friday, a Memorial Day, that I would record a practice for you so that you can have a practice this week. Today's practice will be a little bit shorter of a practice. It might be like 35 minutes long or so. And we will do some stretching, some strength building, some breathing. And we're going to work on centering, and then we'll experience some ex-centering or being off balance, and then bringing ourselves back to center so that we have that orientation towards where we are and feel centered and balanced. So let's start our practice like we usually do, just getting oriented to your external world. Take the opportunity to look around and notice your surroundings. Get oriented to where you are relative to furniture in the room. Perhaps the texture of the surface that you'll be using. And as you feel oriented to your external world, then begin to turn your vision inward. Getting oriented into your inner world. Take the time to notice your mental, emotional, spiritual, and energetic bodies. Noticing emotions that may be present, the mental activity and sort of the thought patterns of the mind. Just noticing. And then as you are ready, allow the breath to begin to develop a little bit. Take a little bit of a bigger inhalation, and as you breathe in, feel the response of the body. You might feel the lungs expand, you might feel the chest rise, and as you exhale, you may notice that release and relaxation response of the nervous system. And then as the breath turns around and you inhale, allow yourself to experience the lungs expanding, the chest rising, perhaps the spine straightening. And then as you exhale, that is a release typically and a relaxation response of the nervous system. So you may feel that sort of that letting go, that releasing, that sort of a bit of a sigh. So take 2 more breath cycles just on your own, allowing yourself the luxury of experiencing your breath. And then as you're ready, and very gently, bring yourself to a seated position. And as you come up into a seated position, if you have something to sit on, you can sit on a chair if that works for you. I'm going to use a bolster to sit on. And then as you come to a seated position, either in a chair or on a bolster, you might have your legs crossed. You could also have your legs out in front of you with the soles of the feet on the mat. But have a seated position where you can have a nice long spine. In ancient Chinese medicine, there are 3 main energy centers: the head, the heart, and the lower belly. And we're going to start our practice today just taking a moment to focus in on those energy centers, just to see what they feel like, see if we can experience them or what our experience is. So with a nice long spine, allow your shoulders to just relax down your back. Allow perhaps the top of the head to reach towards the sky. And bring the focus of your attention to the head center, sometimes referred to as the third eye or the brain. Feeling that as it is comfortable for you as a center of yourself, the head center. And then as you are ready, move down into a little bit lower positioning in the body, into the heart center. This is where we find our ability to love and connect with one another. The heart center. Just noticing any sensations or thoughts that might arise. And then we'll progress down into the lower belly center. That's more of our center of gravity for our physical bodies. It's where we experience a lot of feelings and the area of creativity. So just take a moment to imagine sort of the forces of energy that go through the lower belly center. And then we'll just move through them just one more time at more of just a pace. So we'll just go through the head center, the heart center, and then the lower belly center. And then as you're ready, allow your eyes to blink open. Take your right hand, slide that off towards your side. Keep your body in the same plane. You're going to get a opening in the left side of the rib cage here, a little bit of a lateral side bend in the spine. And then take your thumb or your knuckles even and work your hands down in between the areas between the ribs. So just kind of pressing down as you're maybe sliding your hand out. And if you find an area that is maybe perhaps a bit tender, that you're like, oh, I didn't know that was tender there, just kind of pause there, maybe rub your thumb through that. These intercostal muscles have a lot to do with the breathing process, and they can get tight, and we're just kind of doing a little bit of self-massage here, running the hands or the thumbs through the ribs. Take your time, there's no rush. And then when you feel that has been sufficient, bring yourself back to center. Slide your left hand out, just kind of crawl it out alongside of you. Take your right hand and just the same thing on that side. We're just going to kind of find that place between the ribs, press down and just kind of let it slide along the ribs. And again, if you find a place that feels a little tender, sometimes that can just be sort of the binding up of little nerve fibers. And if you put a little bit of pressure on it and then release, and then maybe a little bit of pressure and release, sometimes that can help those nerve fibers release. And then as you're ready, come back to center. If you have your legs crossed, take the leg that's towards the back and bring that in towards the front, just so we have a little bit of exchange there in the way that the legs are situated. So with a nice long spine, start with the palms down on the knees. Take a nice big inhalation, and as you inhale, root down through your sits bones and allow the crown of the head to reach towards the sky. So make the spine nice and long. On your next inhalation, allow your arms to float up to shoulder height. As you exhale, rotate towards your right. You can take your right hand behind you on the floor if that helps support the spine with the rotation, but keep your left hand sort of floating. Don't put it down on your knee. Keep it floating. Use the muscles in the back to create that rotation in the spinal column. Inhale, back to center. Arms come right back up to shoulder height. Nice long spine. Exhale, rotate towards your left. And now that left arm can come behind you on the floor, lengthen through the spine. Let that right arm just sort of float and find the rotation in the spine. Inhale, center, arms to shoulder height. Exhale, rotate. Let that left arm float. Use the muscles in the back to create the rotation in the spine. Inhale, back to center, arms float. Exhale, rotate. One more time on each side. Inhale, arms float. Exhale, rotate towards the right. Inhale, arms float to shoulder height. Exhale, float, right arm floats. Inhale, back to center. This time we're going to allow the hand to use the knee to facilitate the rotation. So take a nice big inhalation with your arms level. As you rotate, right hand comes behind you. Now, if you would like, take your left hand on top of your knee. Keep your shoulders level, but use that pressure on the knee perhaps to facilitate a little bit more rotation in the spine. But notice that difference, how you're using that hand to sort of pull back on the knee to facilitate the rotation. Inhale, come to center. Exhale, rotate towards the left. Now your right hand can come around on that knee and use that knee to facilitate the rotation. Inhale, back to center. One more time on each side. Either use the knee to facilitate the rotation or not, your choice. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, rotate towards the left. And then come back to center. And pause and just notice. So that was some rotation in the spinal column. Getting the spinal column moving. Let's get some movement in the shoulders. So right where you are, lift the shoulders up, back, down, and around. Up, back, down, and around. And then reverse. Down, back, up, forward. Down, back, up, and forward. Pause in the middle. Let's check out the range of motion that we have in the cervical spine, the neck. So with your shoulders level, chin parallel to the floor, take an inhalation, and as you exhale, rotate just the head, keeping the chin parallel to the floor, turn it towards the right, come back through center, you're just moving the head, turn it towards the left, the opposite direction. One more time on each side. Just checking out the range of motion in the cervical spine. The neck. Come back to center. Now take the soles of your feet onto the floor in front of you. Hands on top of your shins. Seated cat-cow. As you pull your hands back on your shins, pull the chest through the shoulders, lift the gaze, send the tailbone back, squeeze your shoulder blades. That's an extension of the spine. And then with the exhalation, fold the spine into flexion. Inhale, bring the chest through the shoulders, lift the gaze, send the tailbone back, extension. Exhale, flexion. So feel that movement, maybe 2 or 3 more times on your own. As much movement or as little movement in your spinal column that feels good for you. Because you want to keep that, we want to keep that spinal column supple, and that includes keeping the muscles supple, the connective tissue, keeping good circulation going through the connective tissue, and keeping the muscles strong, keeping that, because when we stop moving, the body starts to solidify, and that is not what we want. The next time you come through neutral, just pause. Take a nice big inhalation. Let the crown of the head reach towards the sky. Root down through your sitting bones. Let your tailbone get really rooted there. Nice long spine. Pull your belly button in. And then as you're ready, we're going to make our way onto the backs. If you're on the floor, then come down onto the back. Take a nice long stretch. So reach your legs out long, reach your arms up over your head, just reach through the body, take that nice long stretch. And then bring your hands down onto your chest actually. One hand on your belly and one hand on the upper part of the torso. On an inhalation, I'm going to do a counted breath, and breathe along with my counting if it feels comfortable for you. If it doesn't feel comfortable, if my pace doesn't feel comfortable, then just allow yourself to breathe along in a way that feels comfortable for you. So inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, inhale 5, exhale 6, inhale 7, exhale 8, inhale 9, exhale 10. And then just let the breath go. Just take a moment just to notice. You might take another breath cycle or two and just kind of notice how your hands sort of float up on the inhalation and lower on the exhalation. Maybe noticing if the belly rises first or the chest. And then as you're ready, pull your right leg in towards your chest, hands on your shin. Give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. And then hook your right foot behind your left knee. Allow that knee to cross the body towards the floor. And just find a gentle rotation in the spine. You don't have to make it a big rotation. We're just early, just getting warmed up a little bit, just kind of working through the body. Roll back over onto your back. Stretch your right leg out long. Bring your left leg in towards your chest, hand on your shins. Give yourself a squeeze. And then allow that left foot to hook behind your right leg. Let the knee lower towards the floor. Kind of roll over onto your right side a little bit. Gentle rotational movement, reclined twist. Come back onto your back. Bring the soles of your feet up onto the floor about hip distance apart. Arms down by your sides. Recline, flow. As you're ready, press into your feet. Lift your hips towards the sky. Just pause here for a moment. Notice what's working. Press into your feet. Lift the hips to the sky. And then as you're ready, on an inhalation, bring your arms up over your head to the floor behind you. And let them go wide. Let your arms go into a nice wide V. And then lower the hips back down towards the floor. To the floor. When you get the hips back down to the floor, find a neutral spine. Take an inhalation. Reach the arms out long and let the breath fill the top part of the chest. As you exhale, lift the soles of your feet off of the floor, hands on your shins, give yourself a squeeze. Inhale, upside down, downward facing dog. The soles of the feet go towards the sky, the hands towards the sky. Just pull your belly button in, pull the sides together, feel that stimulation in the back of the legs, and then as you're ready, bend the knees, lower the feet to the floor, arms by your sides. One more time, just like that. Inhale, press into your feet, lift your hips towards the sky, keep a nice long back of the neck. As you're ready, inhale your arms up over your head. Nice wide V. On an exhalation, lower your hips to the floor. Find a neutral spine. Inhale, reach through your hands and your fingertips. Really bring that breath into the top part of the chest. On an exhalation, lift your feet, hands on your shins. Give yourself a squeeze. Inhale, upside down, downward facing dog. On an exhalation, bend your knees, soles of the feet to the floor, arms by your side. So now if you have something like a strap or a towel, we're going to use that to work the back of the legs. stretch your left leg out long, or you can actually have the sole of the foot on the mat if that feels a nice way to start on the low back. And then take the strap around your right foot or your towel and slide that strap around on the bottom of your foot so that you're getting that nice stimulation on the bottom of the foot. You stimulating those sensory receptors, and you know that you can feel the bottom of your foot. That's really important. We want good circulation in the bottom of our feet. Take your hands on those straps and slide your hands down the straps so that the back of your arms are on the floor. And if it feels good on your back, you can stretch the other leg out long. So right here, just pause a moment. You're getting good circulation and stimulating the energy in this leg that you have extended towards the sky. Bend your knee a little bit towards your chest, and then on an exhale, straighten the leg. So that's not a big movement, but as you inhale, bend the knee towards your chest, and then as you inhale, straighten the leg. As you exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. And then the next time the leg is extended, pause there. Level the pelvic area if it's not level. Extend that leg towards the sky. Press through the heel. And then just explore. So you can take the straps in the same hand as the leg. Maybe move the other leg out a little bit wider to counterbalance as you go into an external rotation of the hip socket on the right side of that outstretched leg. And allow, in a very controlled way, that leg to lower towards the floor. And you might notice how the sensation in the stretch moves from the hamstring in the back of the leg to the more of the inner groin and the top of the leg. And then as you're ready, bring that leg back up. Put a little bend in the knee. That helps take the tension off of the low back. Take the straps in the opposite hand, and if you've got room, allow that leg to lower towards the floor. So right here you can roll over onto your left side, and this is done in a very controlled way. We're not just flinging ourselves around here. We've got this really controlled action of that leg lowering towards the floor. And then allow yourself, with a little bit of a bend in that leg, to come back up to center. Release the strap. Place the sole of the left foot on the mat. Place your ankle on that right leg on top of your knee. Express your feet so that your feet are really active here. And then you can explore from here. You might lift that left leg up off of the floor and roll around a little bit, getting a sensation in the back side of that right hip socket and that right the muscular structure around the right hip. You can thread your hands on your arms through your leg, interlace your fingers on top of your shin, and maybe roll around in that way. Any way that feels like you're just getting good, a sensation in the body that feels like a sweet discomfort, or just like an edge, right on the edge of compassion, so that you're creating tension in the body, and you know that you're getting good circulation and you're going to your optimal point. And then as you're ready, come back onto your back, extend that leg right up to the sky one more time. Support that leg with your right hand. Stretch the left leg out long. Take your right hand, place it right on that hip socket, and then move the whole leg so you can feel the head of that femur bone moving around in that hip socket. So that is not movement you're going to get in just your everyday movements in your lifestyle. And so we want that to help create good circulation in that hip socket. And then as you're ready, we'll bring that leg all the way back down towards the floor. Stretch your legs out long. On an inhalation, with your arms by your sides, as you exhale, sweep your arms up over your head. Bottom of that exhalation, pull your belly button into the spine and reach. Bring a little tension in the body. Pull your belly button in. As you inhale, arms back down by your sides. As you exhale, sweep your arms up over your head to the floor behind you. Bottom of your exhalation, make yourself really long in the body. Pull your belly button down. Stretch that diaphragm. Inhale, arms back down by your sides. And again, find your strap. We'll take that left leg towards the sky. Slide the strap around on the bottom of your foot. Notice if you can feel the bottom of your foot. We want to keep those sensory receptors really active so that we know we've got good circulation in our feet. And then when you have that leg extended towards the sky, slide your hands down the strap so that the back of the arms are on the mat or the floor. As you exhale, bend the knee towards your chest. As you inhale, extend the leg towards the sky. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, extend the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, extend the leg. And then pause here for a moment. Right here, pull your belly button in. Pull your sides together. So get yourself centered and the core's engaged. And you could stay right here. This is good work. You might just kind of move the leg around a little bit using the strap or the towel to help support the leg. If you want to explore more rotation in the hip socket, maybe take your hands around both straps. Move the other leg out a little bit wider to counterbalance, and then in a very controlled way, lower that leg towards the floor. So notice as you're doing that, if the body starts to roll with the leg. So just notice, be very mindful of what you're doing here. Notice when the stretch moves into the inner groin and out of the hamstring. So this is good external rotation in the hip socket, but if it doesn't feel good for you, it's not good. So notice that pain is information. So if it feels like that compassionate edge, if it feels like that sweet discomfort, if those are the words that you would use to describe the stretch, maybe then that's a good stretch for you. So bend the knee a little bit, bring that back up, same way you went down, very controlled. If you want to go across the body in the other direction, take the straps in the same hand, and as you're lowering that leg down, you roll a little bit onto the right side, still very controlled. Noticing how the sensation in the stretch in the legs shifts as the leg moves. And bring yourself back up. Release the strap. Support the leg with the right hand, left hand on your hip, and then just move that leg, that whole leg, in a way that you can feel the head of that femur bone just moving around a little bit. As you're ready, the sole of the right foot comes on the mat, ankle on top of your right knee. Press through your feet so your feet are really active. And then just mess around. So if this is a good stretch for you, then that's where the work is. You can even do this up against a wall and put the right foot would be on the wall. You know, whatever works for you to get that sensation of stretch in that hip socket. So you might roll around a little bit. You just might explore in that way. You might try threading your hands and your arms through your leg, maybe interlacing your fingers. You can use your arms to sort of guide this leg. What you don't want to do is pull on your foot so that you're putting your foot at an odd angle there. And then bring yourself back down, the sole of the foot on the mat. So we're going to do one more thing. We're just going to play here and have a little bit of fun with the strap, or if you have a towel. So take your strap and put it under both feet. Slide your hands down the strap, and in fact, if you've got a strap, you can wrap the strap around your hands a little bit. We're just going to we're going to play with finding a little bit of balance here. So very mindfully and very playfully. So if you want to start, maybe take the legs a little bit over the head, and as you begin lowering the legs, let your head and your shoulders come up off of the floor. Press into that strap. That might help bring you up. And then if you come up and you can find a little bit of a balance point, lengthening through the spine, pressing your feet into the strap. Kind of notice that struggling around, finding that center of gravity, that center within us. And then we're going to go back down and come back up one more time. So just take your time. So press your feet. You can pull back on that strap. Press your feet into the straps if that feels good. Let yourself roll back. Maybe bring the feet over your head a little bit. And then as you come up, use that strength in the core. Use the leverage of the legs. Press into your legs. Peel your head and your shoulders up off of the floor. Maybe find that balance point. You might even then just let go of the straps and then just find your boat. You can bring the feet down, lift the spine, take a nice big inhalation. And then as you're ready, come all the way over onto your hands and your knees. Knees under your hips, hands out a little bit in front of you, and then just kind of move with the body. You might find the linear movement, bringing the chest through the shoulders, lifting the gaze, extension of the spine, and then rolling through the spine, getting that flexion in the spine. Again, taking that opportunity to move your spinal column. Move it in a way that just feels like you're getting good movement in the entire length of the spinal column. And then from that linear movement, it just take your barrel roll your chest down. So move the chest and the ribs towards the floor, across the mat, and then pull your belly button in and up as you pull it around. That is good massage for the internal organs, and it's good movement for the spinal column. So try that in one direction a couple of times, and then take it in the other direction. Just getting that big movement in the spinal column. And then as you're ready, bring yourself into a knee plank. So knees, head is an extension of the spine. Little bit of a bend in the elbows. Take a nice big inhalation here. As we exhale, bend the elbows. We're going to lower to a count of 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you come down onto the floor, bring your arms alongside your body, palms towards your body. Inhale, peel the whole front of the body away from the mat. Reach long through the pinky side of your arms. Squeeze your triceps. And then bring your hands right back where they were. We're going to come up to a count of 4. Inhale, press into your arms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn your toes under. Take your hips back towards your heels. Child's pose. Inhale into your knee plank. 2 more of those rounds. So knee plank, inhale. Begin exhaling, lowering the body down. Keep your head as an extension of the spine. 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms down by your sides. Inhale, reach long through your arms. Peel the front of the body away from the mat. Squeeze your triceps. Bring your hands right back where they were. Inhale, push the floor away. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn your toes under, child's pose. One more time. Inhale into knee plank. exhale. 4, lowering yourself down. 3, 2, 1. Hands beside your body, palms towards the body. Inhale, peel the front of the body away from the mat. Reach long through your arms, so you're reaching through your pinky side of the arm, squeezing the triceps. Pull your belly button in. Bring your hands right back where they were. Last time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, we're going to come up to standing. If you want to release some tension out of the body in tabletop, find that release. If you want to come into downward facing dog, lift the knees, lift the hips, and just pedal the hips out. As you're ready, begin walking your feet to your hands to your feet. Let your head hang for a moment. If that's comfortable for you, within a forward fold, let your head hang. That's a nice release on the neck and on the shoulders. Let yourself sway from side to side. And then as you're ready, hips to your, weight to your heels. Use your legs. Inhale and sweep yourself up. As you come to standing, take a nice big inhalation. And then exhale, sit your hips back to chair. Bring your hands down on top of your quadriceps. So develop those proprioceptors here. Head is an extension of the spine. You can feel that. Your head is an extension of the spine. Shoulders are soft down the back. Your booty's not sticking way out. You've got this nice neutral pelvic area, and your quadriceps are starting to fire. So these are 4 big muscles in the body, and we want these to be really strong. So sit a little bit deeper. And then as we come up, we're going to press into our feet and raise ourselves up, squeezing these quadriceps and squeezing the glutes. So press your feet down, squeeze, 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 squeeze as you come up. When you come up, inhale, sweep your arms up, hands to heart center. And then just pause here for a moment. We're going to center, X-center, and then find our balance again. So shift your weight back, maybe in forward on your feet, maybe side to side. So X-center, and then center. X-center, and then center. And then come to your center. So find what feels like that center of gravity for you, that you're balanced. From that place, inhale, bring your hands down, sweep your arms up, sit your hips back to chair. Bring your hands down on top of your quadriceps. Head is an extension of the spine, so you've still got that centered, that balance feeling here. So notice what starts to happen in the mind when the quadriceps start to work. That mental activity of wanting to come up out of the pose, if that's what's going on. So squeeze those quadriceps, press your feet down, squeeze as you rise, rise, rise. Squeeze the quadriceps, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Hands to heart center on an exhalation. Pause. Notice, find that center. On an inhalation, let the top of the head reach towards the sky. And then as you're ready, one more time, inhale, sweep your arms up, sit your hips back, find your chair, bring your hands to your quadriceps, let those quadriceps fire, notice the activity, notice the breath, the mental activity, the emotional body, and then press into your feet, rise, rise, rise. And then just give it a little shake. Shake out your legs, shake out your arms. Feet are about hip distance apart. Inhale, sweep your arms up, right hand around your left wrist, and then heel toe your feet together so that the heels and the toes touch. Reach up and over, opening that left side body. So as you're in your stretch here, in your lateral side bend in the spine, take your right hand on your ribs and just kind of reach and stretch and feel the rib cage moving. Feel the stretch, feel the muscles sliding around on the ribs. Move it around a little bit so you can feel that movement that you're getting there. And then with your hand on your side, I want you to feel the contraction on these muscles as you come back to center. So contract those muscles, feel those muscles work as you come back to center. Bring your arms down. Inhale, sweep up. Left hand, right wrist. Reach up and over. And then if you want to take your hand, put it on the ribs, somewhere on the rib cage, move around a little bit. See if you can feel the muscles sliding around on the rib cage, if you can feel the ribs moving a little bit. And then with your hand on that side of your body, as you come back to center, feel that contraction of those muscles. And then release. Release your arms, release your legs. And we're going to come back down onto the mat. So as you come back down onto your mat, onto your backs, bring your knees in towards your chest. Just give yourself a nice little release. Make figure eights on the ceiling with your knees. And then if you have something like a block or a pillow or a blanket to facilitate a supported inversion, press into your feet, lift your hips, bring that block or whatever that device is that you're using there, and place it in the bottom of in the sacrum area, that triangle shaped 5 fused vertebral bodies at the bottom of the spine. So make sure that it feels like stable and safe, and then it's not in the low back and it's not in your bottom. It's kind of right there in that flat space. Make sure that you have a nice long back of the neck. And then place your hands on your rib cage so that the heel of the hand is on the side of the ribs. As you take an inhalation here, because you're breathing against gravity, your heart's beating against gravity, it's going to work things in a little bit different way. So inhale, and see if you can get your hand, the heel of your hands, to press out. You might have to move them around a little bit to see if you can get that feeling of getting the ribs to press out. Just working on developing that breath. We can direct the breath into different parts of the lungs, and we want the lungs to maintain that recoil ability. There's no muscles in the lungs, but there is that ability to like stretch as the diaphragm pulls down with the inhalation, and then it's that recoil action of the ribs of the lungs that we want to maintain. And then when you've done that, if you like having the legs up, doing legs up in the air, this is a nice way. If you've got a wall that you can use, you can also do this with just without the support under the base of the spine and just put the legs up the wall. It's one of the fastest ways to calm the autonomic nervous system. If it feels safe for you, letting the legs to extend towards the sky, it increases the intensity of the pull of blood and fluid into the abdominal area. Tends to be a very calming form. And if the legs are up, very mindfully, bring one down at a time. Press into your feet, lift your hips, remove the block. And if there's any movement in your body that would feel good, whether it's a twist or perhaps happy baby or anything, it doesn't have to be a yoga pose or anything that would look like a yoga pose, but any movement in your body that would just feel like that it feels like it would be a good move for you. That is tapping into that internal nature, that intuitive nature of our bodies. And then as you're ready, as you would like to spend just a minute or two in Shavasana. If you want to lie on your back, if you have a blanket or a bolster, you might place behind your knees. And as you settle, allow your whole body just to settle. Just allow the weight of your body to be heavy. Let the weight of the bones and the muscle and the tissue and all that stuff just lay there. The physical body. And then tap into that part of yourself that is more of the mental, the energetic, the emotional, perhaps the spiritual body. Those different parts of you. Just if you can imagine even sort of those parts of you being body-like. And use your imagination a little bit here. So as you're breathing, all those different parts of you, the physical body, the mental body, emotional, spiritual, energetic, as you breathe, all those bodies sort of expand together. And as you exhale, they contract together. So just sort of noticing that as you breathe, maybe they don't seem quite synchronized to begin with, but the more breath cycles that you take, the more synchronized these different parts of yourself get all, the more you breathe, the more synchronized they come. So as you inhale, sort of they all expand. And as you exhale, they contract together, moving as one. And then just let that go. Let the body be what it is just for a moment. Let yourself be. This is a poem called Open by Dana Falls. Nothing to wall out or hold in. Open like the wide sky at twilight. Open as the ocean or the reach of the unknown. Open as a heart that chooses not to close. Open. Nothing to wall out or hold in. Open like the wide sky at twilight. Open as the ocean or the reach of the unknown. Open as a heart that chooses not to close. So to the extent that you're comfortable, allow yourself to open. To be. Experience yourself as open. And then as you're ready, allow yourself to perhaps lick your lips, and swallow. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. If it feels good, sweep your arms up over your head perhaps and reach. And then take your time, no rush. Bring yourself back to a seated posture. If you would like to bring your hands to your heart center, and I invite you just to bring up, what was the best part of your week this week? Was there something that comes to mind, an experience that you had with someone else, or something that you saw, or something that you thought? What was the best part of your week so far? Just noticing those little gems. Thank you so much for allowing me to lead you in this practice this afternoon. Namaste.